PFL 10 2025 finals. These are the full card predictions and the betting breakdown. I'm looking forward to my brother breaking down the entire PFL card. So make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure you share the video too. Alex holds the fort down with PFL predictions. And this is the final event of this world tournament. Hopefully we get him back next year. And even for the PFL Championship Series. I'll keep you guys updated on it. But without further ado, the man that needs no introduction, here's Alex with the breakdown.
What is going on, everybody? We are back with the PFL World Tournament predictions, and in this one we got the light heavyweights, the heavyweights, and the middleweight finals, and I'm excited to break down this entire card and give you guys my predictions. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's jump into the first fight of the night. So first fight of the night, we got JP St. Louis taking on Tyler Ray, and in this rematch, I'm going JP St. Louis. In their first fight, they fought back in 2017, and St. Louis was able to get him out of there with a guillotine in the first round. And in this rematch, I think St. Louis is going to be able to beat him again. I can't see Tyler Ray avenging that loss. I think he's going to be getting taken down and getting controlled on the mat in this fight. Tyler Ray definitely is more of a striker. He likes keeping the fight standing, using his range, keeping the fight at distance, landing big shots on the feet. At times, we see him trying to wrestle and push his opponents up against the cage. But with St. Louis, I think St. Louis is going to be too strong, and I think he's going to be able to get the fight to the ground and beat up Tyler Ray. The odds on this fight, we got Tyler Ray sitting at a plus 120, and St. Louis is sitting at a minus 140. So close odds on this fight, but I do see St. Louis getting it done. I think he's going to beat Tyler Ray a second time here, and I can't see him losing. Tyler Ray, his best bet is if he is able to stop the takedowns at the beginning. So we'll kind of know right away. In the first round, if it comes out, Tyler Ray stuffs the takedown, then St. Louis could be in some trouble because I do think Tyler Ray might have the slight edge on the feet. But I think with the grappling threat and the wrestling threat of St. Louis, I don't think he's going to be able to mix in his strikes well against St. Louis. And I see Tyler Ray getting taken down. So I'm going St. Louis to get it done. I think we could see a submission potentially or a decision win, but I'm going St. Louis to win this fight. Next fight of the night, we got Josh Silveira taking on Murad Ramazanov, and in this fight, I was kind of back and forth. I was a little back and forth on this fight. Do we want to go with Murad Ramazanov, who decently explosive striker, but definitely likes using the wrestling, using that pressure-heavy style, getting the fights to the ground. In his last fight, we saw him with Aaron Jeffrey, lost a split decision. Very boring fight. They both were kind of hugging each other, but Aaron Jeffrey was able to get the better of him in the clinch transitions. And in this fight, Josh Silveira, I think he's going to have the edge on the feet. I think Silveira is going to be able to tag up Murad Ramazanov. I think he's going to be peppering him up with shots. And I think as the fight goes on, I think Ramazanov's going to get tired. He's going to start slowing down, and I think Silveira's going to start coming on stronger in the later rounds. So I'm going Silveira to win this fight. I think Silveira's going to be able to stop the takedowns of Ramazanov. I think Silveira's going to be able to touch up Ramazanov on the feet, and I think Silveira's going to be able to get it done. The odds on this one, we got Silveira sitting at a plus 210, and Ramazanov is the minus 250. Silveira, is it a scary pick, you could say? Slightly. But I don't know. I think Silveira is going to be able to tag up Ramazanov on the feet. I think Ramazanov tends to be gassing out. He starts not looking too great in the later rounds, and I think Silveira is going to capitalize on that. I think he's going to have better conditioning than Ramazanov, and I see him winning the fight. So I'm going Silveira to get it done. I think he's going to get it done by a decision. But I like Silveira to win. I think he's going to pepper up Ramazanov on the feet, get this decision, stop the takedowns of Ramazanov, and I see him winning the fight. So I'm going Silveira to get this one done. Next fight of the night, we got Sergey Bilostenniy taking on Karl Williams. Last time out, we saw Karl Williams in probably one of the most boring fights you would ever see with Oleg Popov, where he lost that split decision. He didn't look terrible. He came in on short notice, but very boring fight. I didn't think he looked that great. Sergey Bilostenniy is coming off that loss against Moldavsky, where it was a pretty entertaining fight. They were both banging back and forth. Both of them were getting cracked up on the feet. Sergey Bilostenniy had some good moments. But in this fight with Karl Williams, I see Bilostenniy getting it done. I think he's going to be too explosive on the feet. I think he's going to be cracking up Karl Williams. Karl Williams, he likes to kind of use his size and range and keep the fight at distance. I would say he's a very slow fighter. Like, I don't know how to describe it. He kind of just waits for his opponents. Maybe you could describe him as like a counter puncher. But he likes keeping the fight at range, using his distance. But in this fight with Bilostenniy, I think Bilostenniy is going to be closing the distance, getting in on Karl Williams and cracking him with some huge shots. So I see Sergey Bilostenniy beating up Karl Williams in this fight. The odds on this fight, we got Bilostenniy sitting at a minus 195, and Karl Williams is the plus 170 underdog. Sergey Bilostenniy, I really do see him getting it done. I think we could potentially see a finish for Bilostenniy. I think he's going to be cracking Karl Williams. He's too explosive. He comes in too fast, and I see Karl Williams getting hit on the fucking chin. So I'm going Sergey Bilostenniy. I think he finishes Karl Williams. I'll go second round finish for Sergey Bilostenniy. Next fight of the night, we got Razul Magomedov taking on Guilherme Viana. We saw Viana on Ultimate Fighter Brazil, where he lost to Shoeface. And then recently he took an 8-year layoff. He came back last year fighting. He got 2 wins over mediocre fighters. His last one was against a 2-2 Hassan Graham. But Viana, this is a squash match. Razul Magomedov's going to get this fight to the ground and dominate Viana. Viana, I would say you could kind of describe him. He likes keeping the fight standing, using his striking pressure. But in this fight with fucking Razul Magomedov, it's going to be a one-sided destruction. Magomedov's going to get the fight to the ground quick, dominate. We'll probably see an early finish, potentially first round. The odds, we got Viana at the plus 1,000, and Magomedov is the minus 2,000 favorite. Magomedov, if he were to lose this fight, that would be crazy, and it's not going to happen. Magomedov's going to dominate Viana in this one. Next fight of the night, we got Impa Kasanganay taking on Andrew Sanchez. Andrew Sanchez, decent striker. I would say he mixes it up kind of well on the feet. Nothing that impressive. Impa Kasanganay is going to be too much for Andrew Sanchez. Impa Kasanganay is going to be pushing him forward, keeping Andrew Sanchez on the back foot, landing some big shots. We saw Impa Kasanganay lose in his last fight with Fabian Edwards. But Fabian Edwards is no Andrew Sanchez. Andrew Sanchez is going to get crushed in this fight. Impa Kasanganay is going to come at him quick, land some huge shots on the feet, and I see him getting him out of there. I don't know if it'll be an early finish, but I think he's going to get the finish over Andrew Sanchez. Andrew Sanchez, I don't think he's going to be able to mix it up with him, Kasanganay. I think Kasanganay is going to be better all over. I think he's going to be able to push him up against the cage, get the fight to the ground, and I even see him cracking him up bad on the feet. So I'm going Impa Kasanganay to demolish Andrew Sanchez. And the odds, we got Kasanganay sitting at a minus 600, and Sanchez is the plus 425. Andrew Sanchez is not winning this fight. I can't see it happening. There's no way. Impa Kasanganay is going to dominate. Next fight of the night, we got an interesting matchup here. We got Bryce Meredith versus Lazaro Dayron. Bryce Meredith, NCAA wrestler, good on the ground. He likes getting the fight to the ground, all right? He's going to be trying to chain wrestle Dayron. But Dayron, we saw in his last fight, he got a draw with Sabatello, who we know, Sabatello, is a wrestler. He likes grinding out his opponents, getting the fights to the ground. Dayron was able to do decently well, I would say, stopping the takedowns. We did see him get slammed a couple times. But in this fight with Bryce Meredith, I see him beating him. I think Lazaro Dayron is going to win this fight. Meredith, from what I've seen, I'm not that impressed. Yes, he's got decent wrestling. But in his last fight, we saw him getting tagged up by John McAlooey, who's 4-1. Not anything special. And I didn't like how Bryce Meredith looked on the feet. Yeah, he tried to throw some explosive combos, but he was overextending himself. And in this fight with Lazaro Dayron, I think he's going to be getting touched up on the feet. And I think that's going to hinder his grappling. And I don't think he's going to be able to chain his takedowns together on Dayron. I think Dayron's going to be able to use his distance, keep the fight standing, and crack up Bryce Meredith on the feet. Lazaro Dayron, I think he's got good takedown defense, and I see him winning this fight against Bryce Meredith. The odds on this fight, we got Meredith at the plus 118, and Lazaro Dayron is the minus 138 favorite. I do see Dayron getting it done. It's going to be a close fight. Meredith, if he can somehow chain together those takedowns, it will be a problem. But I don't know. I'm going the side of Dayron in this fight. I think he's going to be able to stop the takedowns of Bryce Meredith and tag him up on the feet. So I'm going Lazaro Dayron. Is that a bad pick? I don't know. Meredith got a slight reach, but I don't think that's going to be able to... I don't know. I can't see Meredith tagging him up on the feet, and I don't think the takedowns are going to be too effective. I think he loses this fight. So I'm going Lazaro Dayron to get it done. Next fight of the night, we got a squash match. Pergande versus Ethan Goss. Pergande, he's going to be keeping the fight at range, using the distance, and tagging up Ethan Goss. Ethan Goss? I think that's how you say Ethan Goss. Goss. Whatever. Pergande, keep the fight at range, keep it standing, and I think he's going to be cracking up Ethan on the feet. We'll see a finish in this fight. Pergande should be able to get it done. We saw Pergande absolutely beating up on Mike Bardsley in his last fight. Ethan Goss is coming from 247, and he's nothing impressive. This is a squash match. This is a pure Pergande destruction in this one. Pergande, he's going to be too big for him. He's got a lot of range on Ethan, and I think he's going to fucking just tag him up bad on the feet. We could see definitely an early finish, maybe second round, but I think Pergande's going to be able to get it done. The odds on this fight, we got Pergande at a minus 900, and Ethan Goss is the plus 600 underdog. Pergande, one-sided destruction in this fight. Next fight of the night, we're on to the light heavyweight finals. We got Antonio Carlos Jr. taking on Sullivan Cauley. Shoeface likes his jiu-jitsu, likes the ground game. He likes pressuring his opponents and getting them down fast. In his last fight, we saw him with Simeon Powell, where he kind of exposed Simeon Powell. Simeon Powell, supposed to be this young, up-and-coming prospect, nasty striker. Carlos Jr. was able to shut him down on the feet and in the ground because Simeon Powell was too scared of the takedown, so he couldn't get off his striking. And Carlos Jr. was able to shut him down. And in this fight with Sullivan Cauley, though, Carlos Jr., I think he loses the fight. I think Sullivan Cauley is going to be too explosive for Shoeface. I think he's going to come at him and crack him with big shots, and I like his takedown defense. So I can't see Shoeface getting it done on the ground. I think Sullivan Cauley is going to dominate Shoeface, and I think we could see him finish Shoeface. Sullivan Cauley, we saw him last time out with Phil Davis, where he was able to tag him up, dropped him a couple times. Sullivan Cauley in this fight with Shoeface, I think he gets it done. I think he's going to be cracking up Shoeface on the feet, and I don't see Shoeface being able to get the fight to the ground. I think Sullivan Cauley is going to be too strong, too explosive, and I see him winning the fight. The odds, we got Carlos Jr. sitting at a plus 135, and Sullivan Cauley is the minus 155 favorite. Sullivan Cauley, I see him getting this fight done. I think he's going to be able to use his striking, use that pressure style, and crack Shoeface. I think it could be a early knockout for Sullivan Cauley, and I see him getting it done. So I'm going Sullivan Cauley. On to the heavyweight finals. We got Oleg Popov taking on Alexander Romanov. Oleg Popov, last time out, we saw him with Carl Williams, or Rodrigo Nascimento. Before that, we saw him with Carl Williams, where boring fight. Boring split decision win. He didn't look that great. And in his last fight with Nascimento, we saw him beat up Nascimento. He was able to get him to the ground. And in this fight with Romanov, he's going to be trying to do the same thing, use the wrestling, and use that grind-heavy style. But Romanov is too fucking big. Romanov is going to be too big for Oleg Popov, and I see Romanov controlling the transitions in the ground. I see him being stronger in the clinch, and I can't see him losing the fight to Popov. I think Romanov's going to be too strong for Popov. I think he's going to be getting the better of him in the ground, and I think we could potentially see Romanov able to tag him up decently well on the feet. Popov's going to be trying to get the takedown. I think we could see Romanov transition and even get on top, and he'll start laying on Oleg Popov. I'm going Romanov to win this fight. I think Romanov wins. In his last fight, we saw him get the no contest of Moldavsky, where he got hit in the nuts, busted up his testicle. But in this fight with Popov, I see Romanov getting it done. I think he's going to be too big for Popov. The odds on this fight, we got Popov at the minus 185, and Alexander Romanov is the plus 160. But I think he's going to be too big for Popov. I don't think Popov's going to be able to handle the size and strength of Romanov, and I see Romanov dominating him. Maybe not dominate, but I don't know. He could potentially dominate. I think he's going to be too big. He's going to be laying on him. I think Romanov's going to use that use those love handles and really get in there with Popov and beat him up. So I'm going Romanov to get it done. I think he beats up Popov. Now, on to the main event. We got the middleweight finals. We got Fabian Edwards taking on Dalton Rosta. Dalton Rosta going to be trying to get the fight against the cage, use the wrestling. But Fabian Edwards is winning this fight. I'm going Fabian Edwards. I think Fabian Edwards is going to be able to maintain distance, tag up Dalton Rosta on the feet. Fabian Edwards, I think he's got decent enough takedown defense to stop the wrestling of Dalton Rosta. Dalton Rosta, by the fourth round, if it gets that far, Dalton Rosta is not going to have anything left in the gas tank. I think he's not ready for 5 rounds. He tends to be gassing out. Fabian Edwards, I think he's going to bust him up on the feet. And I think we could potentially see a later finish for Fabian Edwards. Maybe in that 4th, 5th round, Dalton Rosta is going to be dead. He's going to be too tired. I'm going Fabian Edwards to get it done. I like Fabian Edwards to tag up Dalton Rosta on the feet, keep the fight at range, really connect with some big shots. Fabian Edwards is coming off that win with Josh Silveira. Before that, he beat Impa Kasanganay's ass. And in this fight with Dalton Rosta, I see him beating his ass. Dalton Rosta, we saw him. Sadi Busi got that submission win over, and Aaron Jeffrey won a close split decision where some people could have said Aaron Jeffrey might have squeezed that out. But Dalton Rosta ended up getting it done. But in this fight with Fabian Edwards, I think Dalton Rosta is going to be beat up. Obviously, Dalton Rosta is kind of like PFL wants him to be the golden boy a little bit. So hopefully we don't see a robbery decision for Dalton Rosta. But I don't really think it's going to get to decision. I think Fabian Edwards is going to get a late finish over Dalton Rosta. The odds on this fight, we got Fabian Edwards sitting at a plus 200, and Dalton Rosta is the plus 170 underdog. Did I say? Fabian Edwards is the minus 200. Dalton Rosta is the plus 170. Fabian Edwards in this fight, I think he's going to really connect well on the feet, use his distance, tag up Dalton Rosta, stop the takedowns. Dalton Rosta is going to be trying to do the chain wrestling, but I don't really see him dominating Fabian Edwards. I see Fabian Edwards being able to beat him up. So I'm going Fabian Edwards to win this fight. I think he's going to finish Dalton Rosta 4th, 5th round. I think Fabian Edwards gets it done. So those are my full card predictions for the PFL World Tournament. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to check out my channel, a link will be down in the description. It's been a blast covering the PFL on this channel. I hope you guys enjoyed my picks, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.